Welcome everybody. This is Turning Everything to Gold with Zenzi and Luna. We are going to talk about today energy healing and some of the work that we do and different tools that can assist in the holistic wellness area for clearing energy, assisting with stress relief, relaxation, clearing out trapped emotions, trauma, heavy workloads. That's kind of how energy gets trapped in the body, really, is toxic people, environment, relationships, trauma, different things like this, ruminating thoughts. And part of what energy work is, we're going to talk a little bit about, what is it? And it'd be nice to get somebody on here who had an experience and that maybe didn't know anything about it, that can explain their experience of it so people can hear a little bit about what that is. That would be fun to talk and maybe interview somebody about it. But energy work, we do intuitive energy healing, and it is a intuitive practice that is about clearing and balancing the energy of the body through the 7 main chakras, the entire body grid. It works on, there's of course different types of sessions and things like this, but the main focus is really clearing trapped emotion, assisting. We're assisting you with doing that by allowing ourselves to be this vessel and helping you with whatever really your intention is to clear. And you've talked about your experience the first time in the session that you had.
Yeah, when I knew nothing about it.
It was a little probably scary walking into something maybe that you...
It was scary, but I just needed something to change. So...
And that was in person, not on
No,
Zoom.
that was... that was in person in like this tiny little gem shop in downtown Winter Garden. And it was really, honestly, an amazing experience. And I think, why did I wait so long to look into that a little bit more? Because I had the experience.
And what brought you there? You just felt like... I know you said you were looking, or just because you felt stressed, or you're looking for healing?
I felt so much stress. I felt so super depressed. I felt super stressed out, depressed. Molly had just graduated high school. She was 18 and trying every last nerve in my body. And I was like, the way that I was responding, I did not feel healthy. I was not healthy in my... Mentally, I was struggling with depression and not really anxiety, but definitely depression and ruminating thoughts. And then my body was, I had diabetes. I had all these physical ailments. And then my spirit was, I really didn't have any
spiritual connection
to really anything. Like I said, I do believe in God. I do believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. I did believe in all of that, but I was so...
You went to church when you were younger, but you disconnected.
So I was so disconnected from that it was like, I need something. And I tried spiritual work and actually medicinal interventions at the same time.
So it's what I just want to feel better. I want to feel better, so I'm open to the holistic approach.
Whatever this is that's inside me, however we need to get it to come out. And talk therapy was huge for me.
There's so many different types of wellness routes and therapies that you can apply together that are beneficial. Yeah. So
I was doing meditation. I had started that after when COVID started. Like that, I think that's honestly, I think that is for me definitely when this spiritual awakening started during COVID. And then shift. I think it shifted for a lot of people because a lot of people were just kind of looking around like
very tough time.
We just have time to sit with ourselves, and a lot of people felt very uncomfortable with that. So that's I started meditation then, and then that worked on and off for a while, and then 2022.
Like online or going to classes? Or
I was doing it with Deepak. Oprah had started, a lot of things are going to go back to Oprah, just everyone be aware. So Oprah had started a 21-day Jumpstart meditation course with Deepak Chopra, and they had done it a couple of times before COVID, but during COVID they had started a new one. I believe it was on gratitude, which I think we we kind of lost, or we kind of lost before 2020 and kind of had to come back to it. I was grateful for the life I had before this, virus took over and kind of burned my whole life to the ground. I think a lot of people had that experience. So I believe the spiritual awakening started for a lot of us in 2020. And then, things worked or didn't work, or life happened or didn't happen for a couple more years. I think the shift was when my oldest became an adult, and like my life really started to move into a different life, that I was like, okay, I've definitely got to deal with some of this stuff that I know is in my body.
And when you say that, was it like stress or not feeling well altogether? Everything when you say what was in your body?
It was overthinking. It was can't sleep. It was sleep too much. It was depressed one day, depressed 1 hour, happy the next. It was like this just roller coaster of emotions and feelings and experiences. And I remember I was having a friend, I think she was having a graduation party. She was actually a friend of a friend, but we had become sort of friends. And she invited me, and I'll never forget. I wanted to go because everyone else was going, but this was in July of 2022. And I was like, I can't. I got in the car. I just couldn't go. And I was like, what is going on? And so that's when I was like, I got to figure this out. I have to figure out.
And you were doing regular medicine path, and
so I just started Prozac, and which I have to say, for the short amount of time that I took it, which was a couple of years, so not too short, but really helped me. I think that because it was able to help whatever chemical imbalance or whatever chemical imbalance I thought I had, because I'm not so sure that when we're on antidepressants that it's for me. And I don't say this about everyone, because I know that some of these medications are very much needed for mental health. But for me, I was on the antidepressant because I didn't want to do the inner work, and the antidepressant made it easier it kind of dulled that sense. So then when I started doing the inner work and doing the spiritual work, I didn't need the antidepressants anymore. And I know that that's not going to be what it is for everyone, but for me, it was.
How long did it take you to get there from when you started the more holistic path, like the energy healing? And
I went on them in July of 2022, and I went off of them in December of last year, so 2024. So it's about 2.5 years. But I don't think I would have been, for me, I wasn't, because they made me, I was able to function a little bit better. So when I could function a little bit better, and I was on antidepressants, like, okay, so this is how I'll say it. When I first came to you, had I not been on antidepressants, I would have booked or signed up for the meditation, which was the first thing that I had done. Signed up for the meditation, been excited about it, then overthought about it, got nervous about it, and then probably wouldn't have shown up. Carrie, 5 years ago, that would have been and I wouldn't have shown up. Mm-hmm. And then I would have felt bad about myself for not showing up, because I know that I need it, and it's a waste of money, and you just took $20, $30, whatever it was, and threw it down the drain, and all of these other things, which would have spiraled into, guess what, more feelings of worthlessness and depression. So that's initially why I got into it, and how I got into it.
So what are some tools? I know we do meditation, mm-hmm. which is breath work. We do sound therapy is a really good form.
I love sound therapy.
These are all different holistic wellness ways for meditation, for mm-hmm. sound vibration, sound healing. I really feel like that's going to be coming in more and more and more.
Oh, yes.
So it's like an addition too that you can add into your regular health practice, I feel. Mm-hmm. But the energy clearing in specific, and some of the things that helps with this is when we're working over the physical body, it assists you with clearing this trauma or this stress or this really emotional blockage that has been in the body. Sometimes people will come in and they'll say, okay, I'm in a toxic relationship, or I'm trying to separate, and I'm stressed about this, and I feel a weight on my chest, I can't get through it. But then when we get into the session, we're actually working on some childhood trauma, or this came in to create this feeling, whatever it was that actually created the attraction to the person you brought in for the lesson. So it's really unique how energy healing works. And typically it just depends on the person, because we do sessions on Zoom. You can do sessions on Zoom or in person. And, in the sessions, we do a little bit of centering and breath work, and then it's assisting you with clearing this space. We write information down as it comes in intuitively. Sometimes it's a lot of information. Sometimes it's just a couple sentences, sometimes pages. It just depends on the person and where they are, what they're working on, what they're ready to release. And because we all process it different, some people feel the energy movement through the body. Sometimes it takes you into being able to have visions or feelings, emotions. Sometimes you hear, and I don't mean like physically hear. Some people may, because that's their gift, they're able to do that. But sometimes it's just a knowing in your spirit. Something will, an event or an emotion will pop up, or it'll for you as you're receiving the session. Typically it comes in layers of, all healing I feel comes in layers, but it's really comes up energetically in layers where you'll feel maybe a little pressure on the body, or a little bit of emotional tension, and then it'll lift and it'll release, and it typically comes in layers like that. Again, you may feel some things in the body, you may not feel anything in the physical body. Some people go to a state of rest because it's needed for homeostasis to bring you back to that place to allow the energy to release.
And that's honestly another way that your energy gets kind of in flux, is when you're not rested, not sleeping, laying in bed at night and just thinking and thinking and thinking, and not allowing your mind to turn off, and not getting that rest really affects your energy. And I think a lot of people aren't getting the proper rest, aren't hydrated enough. Like, there's all these very simple ways to just keep that energy in check, that are very helpful, that we learn when we're learning about energy work. I did not realize how important it was to be hydrated. I mean, I think I've drank more water in the last week than I drank in 5 years, probably. That's not even because I just am always drinking water now. Sleeping, super important. All of these things make you energetically drained, right? And so, there's...
And emotionally drained, mentally drained. I mean, it
physically,
just depends.
Emotionally, mentally.
If you're like, well, what do you mean by, energy clearing too? I mean, when we talk about toxic, maybe relationships or environment, something like this, I know you've probably experienced having a conversation with someone before, and then when they leave, you feel drained. You feel like, oh, I feel completely drained. It's just like they feel better, but you feel drained. This is part of the, some people are empathic, don't realize they're empathic, or picking up on other people's energy, or more vampire energy, where you feel like you're being drained by someone and then you have to have downtime to catch up. Energy work helps to clear, balance, restore, give clarity, peace, insight. This is part of the intuitive practice that we do, is part of the insight that comes in, intuitively guided by spirit to assist in the healing process. And sometimes you know what something is, you can feel, like either yourself or us we can feel what's coming up, and sometimes it's about that, and sometimes it's not about that. Spirit will give visions and insight just for clarity, and we often need confirmation, especially when we first get on this path. We talk about confirmation. People need to see and feel it, and then you get to a space where you trust and you really align with your intuition. And it's just like you were talking about the onions before. It's like peeling off the layers to get closer to your true self, to live at your happiest self, highest potential, clearing out things that you may not even realized. I just worked. We just talked. Did something on forgiveness, podcast on forgiveness, and I worked with a lady who had never worked with me before, and I kept feeling during the session. At the end, we talk a lot about what came up, why she's kind of rebalancing and just sitting up, and we talk, and it was. She needed to forgive herself, and I didn't get specific direction as to why. It's really not. There's no reason why we need to know that, but she goes, well, I don't know. And she was just having a hard time forgiving herself. She goes, well, I don't really know any specific thing to forgive myself for. And I said, it doesn't matter. I said, we all make the decisions. We do the best we can in the time that we're in with every situation. Then people feel guilty because they may have anyway, it's just all this emotional kind of bondage is what it feels like. And so we come in to try to help untether that. And sharing that with her alone, by the end of our conversation, she was just crying and said, I just internally forgave myself. And she said, I feel 1,000 times better, and I don't even understand what it was connected to. And I said, it didn't matter. It was that you needed to just be okay and forgive yourself for anything and everything in between. And totally different. She looked totally different. She felt 1,000 times lighter. It typically takes a little while, I would say 24 to 72 hours for the energy to balance back out. So you feel, you could feel very, very tired after a session. So you're doing a lot of energy work, spiritual work, mental work, all of it. And then everything kind of realigns, and it just allows things to be a little bit clearer and lift people. But what are other ways of, holistic healing, natural work that'll help bring that peace in?
Well, a part of meditation is breath work. I think breath work is huge. I think I think we've talked about this in probably one of the chakra episodes, is when you have those overwhelming thoughts and feelings and things are happening, just pausing and taking a breath. Breath work is huge. And it's like really one of the most simple ways to rebalance your nervous system, because when your energy is out of alignment, it's typically your nervous system is the system that's affected the most by it, and you make decisions, and anyone knows when you make decisions based out of a nervous system that is not in alignment, they are not great decisions. They are not for your highest good. They are not going to keep you in your highest reality and most abundant timeline. We know this. So I think breath work is definitely,
especially the oxygen. If you're breathing a shallow breath and it's 20 to 30% of your air capacity from the top part of the chest, then you don't have enough oxygen for clarity. I mean, you're under anxiety because you're not even getting enough.
Your brain is just shut down. And it's in fight or flight mode. And it's like thinking about the worst possible outcomes. Where can I go? How can I fix this? What can I say? What can I do? And you're not very unconscious. So you're very unaware of what's going on. And then you're not feeling in your body. I think a lot of energy work and a lot of things that come up when you start doing energy work is you really start to realize where you feel things in your body. And your body will always tell you, it always gives you signs and signals as to what the issue is. So there's breath work. I like Reiki. Reiki is like a hands-on healing, and that's initially how I got into doing energy work. I thought I would do Reiki, which is an old Japanese tradition of hands-on, Japanese, right? Yeah, hands-on healing. I don't know why I question that.
But it can also be above the body too.
Yeah. So, and then at 7 points on the body. What else is there? Acupuncture, which is a more mainstream, a more widely accepted practice. We did that acupuncture class. We did acupuncture, sound bowls, and meditation.
It was a cool synergistic healing, holistic wellness 2-hour class, and it incorporated those different tools all in one session.
All in one. Yep.
And I mean, I like to explain when people are like, what do you mean by energy work? And I said, well, have you heard of acupuncture? And they're like, okay. Well, they're tapping into the meridian, the energy system of the body with the needles. I said, we're tapping into the energy meridian system intuitively and energetically to assist. So it's not the same, but similar energy paths. But there's a lot of different forms of energy healing, like pranic healing is fabulous.
Yes.
There's Hands of Light. There's so many. We do rich training, and that's it's leaning a lot towards the spiritual side as well, because we do spiritual work. And I think that's, as being the practitioner and doing this for as long as I have, that often comes up in sessions, that sometimes this is not energetic, this is more spiritual.
Yeah. And then the things that come through, which we were talking about in a conversation, is when we're doing, and not all energy workers have the same gifts, right? So
everybody's unique, which is
which was
awesome.
very hard for me to grasp that concept, because I thought, if you're doing this kind of work, you have to be this kind of person. Like, I have to be able to do what you do. Like, when we come to do a session with you and you're like, this is what's coming in and this is what I'm seeing, and you would have these visions and you're like, oh, I can see it, and my mind, my third eye. And I'm just like, that's not, I hear things. So I'm more, it's called clairaudient. I hear things, and I will hear things and repeat them. And people are like, how did you know that? And, a lot of it is, I can feel it in my body, or I'll hear it, or something, a vision, or things will come to us. And then
smells can come in sometimes.
All five of your senses.
Like grandfather energy of family that comes in as support, or different things like this.
So, and what we were saying earlier was, a lot of times people are like, okay, show me. Like, they want you to show me how this, like, prove to me.
You
that
have
you
to
know
experience
something.
an energy session to really understand. I mean, you can hear about it, but if you go through the session is one thing, to actually physically experience it. But when you're getting things intuitively, and someone's sitting in front of you, and they're because they don't believe, or because they need confirmation, that it almost seems like it's like a trick, or a show, a magic show of some kind, and that's definitely not what it is. But but it comes up. And again, you do something different for me. There's a lot of different practitioners out there that have unique gifts and handle things and sessions in different ways. Someone might do an energy session completely different than mine.
No two will ever be the same.
No, and that's why you need to resonate with who you're going to. And I have one lady who goes to 3 different people, because they're all different. And there's no
one's gonna get mad. No. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, if I go to, I'll say this.
Some people can get upset, because it depends on where their energy and mindset is.
Well, people working with good intentions and not from the ego.
If you're really wanting somebody to need the help they need, let them go where they need to go. If they need to go to a chiropractor and a PT, then that's a part of their healing journey. You don't be upset because you went to a different chiropractor. Well, that's maybe what they needed.
Yes. So, but I think a lot of times, I know that I used to be this way. I'd be like, oh, that's the person that I go to for this, and I can't go see somebody else. Even like when our friend Lisa comes and she's like, oh, I have this person and she's amazing. You should go and see her. A lot of times before I would be like, no, I go to Zenzi for that, or I go to this person for that, and I'd be pretty closed off, thinking if you found out about it, you'd be like, what's she doing over there? No,
not at all.
And that's what you just confirmed, is that, we want you to be healthy, happy, and there's many different ways to get there, many different healers, and you really have to go with what feels good for you.
What is going to help you and assist you in feeling better in the body, mind, and spirit. And when you come for energy work, I've had people come in for the session the first time, and then as soon as they're done, well, when do I book again? And for me, it's like, well, I really want you to just kind of resonate and feel how you're feeling, process everything we just did, because it was a lot. So give yourself a little time, and then see how you feel, and you'll know. If you'll know. But sometimes I'll see people. I have people I see weekly, once a month, once 3 months. I have people I see once a year. I had somebody who just came and said, I haven't seen you in 7 years, but I didn't. He said, you've been in my thoughts to come and have a session, but it wasn't the right time, and so then it was. So it just depends on the person and how you're feeling. The main thing is, it helps you do your work and feel better, so you feel happy and light. Yes. And I want to say what you were talking about with the breath work. I just had a client that came in just a little bit ago, dealing with healing things. Again, family. We're in this season of holiday and people coming together.
It comes up so much.
It does,
now.
and she's like, I really want to be with family, but it makes me very stressed. And she was sitting. I know, listening to the podcast, you can't see, but it was like a curving inward. Her back was curved, her shoulders were down and in, and it was almost like the heart was being protected, like concaved a little bit. And I said, I want you to sit up nice and tall and put your shoulders back. And she said, I didn't even realize. And I said, because you're being, you're protecting your heart subconsciously. And she's also not, I could feel this band around the lower area. I said, you're not breathing. I feel almost restriction, like you're not breathing. And she goes, I keep feeling dizzy. I can't take a breath. And I said, it's the stress. We need to untether this, take you through some breath exercises and tools that you'll have always. And it's a practice that I would offer and invite her to do, like a regular breath work. It doesn't even have to be meditation, just simply really 5 to 15 minutes of breath work and setting intention and really engaging the diaphragm and the proper way to breathe and to create that flexibility. And she said, well, we did a little practice. And she goes, well, that just feels a lot better. Yeah. And I said, it's just because it's not lack of awareness, but it's that, but it's also the protection. She's in a space where she knows it's not a comfortable space. There's anxiety. There's, a lot of not good feelings happening in this moment. She has to go. That's what she said anyway. She has to go. So there's protection and not breathing. But the main thing is, I said, and she's a singer too. And I said, when you can breathe and start really activating your diaphragm, when we can open this up, help assist in clearing this energy off because it's such a weight. I said, your singing is going to be off the charts amazing. Yeah. She said, I've been having a hard time. I said, it's because you're not breathing. I can feel it. You're not breathing. So breath work is powerful.
And also the throat, she's not communicating as well.
And that's what we're working on. We're working on openness as part of the energy work, opening up the throat chakra where it's not blocked. It's not, and this can get blocked. Why? Because of not being heard, not being seen, not expressing yourself, continuing to put yourself in a space you don't want to be in and not saying anything, control, manipulation, all kinds of things. But this can also start when you're young. You're meant to be seen, not heard.
I think
don't say anything. Let's just sweep it under the rug, and then you get to this place where you don't share. And so this is we're working on, it's exactly what we're working on, throat and heart, to be able to create personal healthy boundaries, focus on breathing, love the self, and protection when you're going in. Because if you feel like you have to do something, then you at least need to go in with the tools of, let me breathe through this and put some protection on me while I'm going through it. So
because I need that protection.
There's all kinds of therapies. There's like talk therapies, regular. Someone just asked me about hypnotherapy the other day who was dealing with anxiety. They come in to help assist in balancing and clearing. And it's like a process of clearing anxiety, and it helps. The intuitive energy therapy helps, but he wants to take it deeper to a different level, and so I said, absolutely. Like, try, especially if you're drawn to something. If you look it up and you're questioning it, or you're drawn.
Interesting.
I said, read about it. And then I said, just like you're going to meet people, you're going to meet a doctor. I said, you're interviewing them too. So if you go into this space and it doesn't resonate with you, that might not be the person for you. So keep looking, but follow your heart. And so that might lead you to. Well, that will lead you to.
It's led me all over. I've been doing so. I mean, we did, Nick and I both did past life regression therapy. I did a intuitive session with this woman out in California, and she was like, have you ever thought about past life regression therapy, which is basically hypnotizing you and going back over your past lives and things that occurred, which answer questions about why things are happening now and why you have these feelings now. It was very, very, very interesting. However, the person that I wanted to do it with was I think she was out of the country. So I found somebody else. I Googled it and I found somebody else, and I went and I did the session, and she sent I'll never forget when the session was over. I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here now. And
you didn't feel,
did
you like the session?
I kind of felt that like the session, I don't know. She said that the session would feel like you're telling a story and you're making things up and you're awake. And this is what she said, and this is kind of how it felt. She said it will feel like you're awake and you're just using your imagination and telling a story, but you're really hypnotized. But I don't think I was
just
hypnotized.
Didn't resonate with you. That's a good way to try different therapies to say this worked for me, or this is.
I would not do it again, and I would. I mean, I don't even think I would. I mean, if it sounds interesting to you, go ahead and try it. But like my experience of it, and maybe I would just have the wrong person, and maybe if I tried it again, I would have.
That's why there's so many different avenues, and you really have to see what resonates with you. But trying things or experiencing it and saying, okay, that was a interesting experience, but not something that I would do regularly or dive deeper into.
Yeah. No. I would definitely do, and I have done chakra alignments. I did the first one, and then the second one. I don't think I would have gone back to her to do another one. I would have found somebody else at that time.
Exactly.
But I appreciated and got something out of that session. Right. I just don't feel like energetically we were a match. So that making sure you're with the right person and you're in the right space and
you need to feel safe. You need to feel seen and validated. Your energy, absolutely. That's why I was saying the discernment and the awareness, that intuitive feeling of I resonate with this person. So you're comfortable because clearing that means you're opening up the energy body to be able to do that. So it's important. So the energy work and the chakra clearing and balancing worked for you, just maybe not with that particular practitioner. Right. So you just needed to find someone else to be able to do that.
Definitely the alignment and the clearing was super beneficial. So I was so grateful for that. And honestly, with the past life regression hypnosis, I do think that there were some things that came through with that were helpful, that definitely explained a lot, specifically about my programming and beliefs about money. A lot of that was answered, but I don't think I was hypnotized the whole time. So I don't know, but I'd be open to it again. Yeah, not with somebody else, but.
And there's so many tools out there. There's so many ways of healing, and I've heard of the massage with energy work too, and
acupuncture with
work.
Reiki.
Yeah, there's just so many forms of craniosacral, and so following that path and just but I really feel like the energy work is good because it helps to clear blockages, energetic, emotional, spiritual, traumatic, and it's really, the point is really about stress relief and relaxation and living at your highest self and happiest potential, highest timeline. I mean, that's in this life experience. And so you know how I feel. I think it's the best thing in the world. And again, this is not something I signed up to do. It's just an alignment of what I was meant to do and guided by spirit. So that's how I feel like definitely on the right path. So,
So we book sessions.
Yes, online. You can go onto our websites, the links down below of where you can reach out for Zoom sessions. And let us know if you have any questions. Yeah. Talk to you later.